Did I wear these glasses only to embrace that cute nerdy look? Yes. Hey guys, and welcome to a new video on my channel. I'm super excited to film this one. I've been wanting to shoot this ever since I shot my first video. So the thing is, I am a complete nerd. I love reading books, I love talking about them. So I thought if I show you my collection, then maybe I'd either inspire you to start reading or inspire you to buy more books. Either of the case, please tag me along your journey. This video will anyway be really long, so I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm trying to go in the order in which I received / bought these books. So my first ever books were these: Famous Five, Five Have a Wonderful Time, Secret Seven Win Through, and Secret Seven Exciting Adventures. If you are from ICSE, I'm pretty sure you too received these books as summer reading. So you basically had to read them and write a summary on them in your summer break. I don't remember a lot about these. I tried to get my sister into reading these, but she got bored and she left it like halfway through. Talking about some classics, I have Birbal, the Clever Courtier, and Adventures of Tenali Raman, which is a comic. And if you didn't read these in your childhood, you just had a sad childhood, man. I'm sorry to say that, but you did. Again, R.K. Narayan, Malgudi Days, a classic. I loved reading these stories. Then I have some random middle grade books. This one is known as Bal Prashnotari, and I think I received this in a Sanskrit competition. All honesty, I am a mythology nerd. I really like reading those books, but this one was a bit boring for me as well. Then I have this, which one, Indian Tiger. Again, this is the point of time when I was in my scholastic book fair phase, and basically I had to get at least one book every time there was a fair, and hence this is so random. This one is Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, and I think this was when I was starting to get interested in Shakespeare, but I also knew that I won't be able to understand the actual drama. So I got some books that were, basically comics and would give me an idea of the play at least. Talking about more middle grade books, I have these ones. This is The Locked Up Boy by Pauline Lowe, which I recently reread, and as a middle grade book, it's pretty damn good. I mean, the story is interesting, that's what I felt, and it's a quick read. I think it's pretty old. It was published in 2013, but maybe if you're looking for some middle grade books to gift your cousin, this might work. This one was also pretty funny. I remember this. This is School Stories by Paro Anand, and these are quite relatable. So I think the school is set in India itself, and that is why I could actually relate to this book back when I was in grade 6th or 7th, I believe, probably grade 5th, somewhere around that. This one, I Am Malala, is the autobiography of Malala Yousafzai, and I am very sad and embarrassed to say this, but I could not finish reading this for the life of me. I just got really emotional. I went through the pictures that she has included from her life, which I think is pretty cute, and it's very inspiring, of course. I wish someday I have the emotional stability to go through this book, but for now, I haven't finished reading it. Now at this point, I started getting into romance as a genre, And the first book that I read in this genre was by Durjoy Datta, and I believe this is one of his best works till date. This is called If It's Not Forever, It's Not Love. This is dedicated to the people who lost their lives in the 26/11 attacks in Mumbai, and specifically, I don't know if you can see it or not, but to all the lives lost in the Delhi High Court blast, 7th September 2011. This book got me in the feels. I remember crying at the end of it so much, and it also has like a really crazy cliffhanger twist in the end, which always gets me. I highly recommend you reading this one. Then another one which I have by Durjoy again is Someone Like You. I think I like this book not as much as this one, but nevertheless it was a good read. Not my favorite, but I don't hate it as well. Dan Brown, The Da Vinci Code. If you love anything near suspense, thriller, mystery mixed in with art history, then this book is a must. I fell in love with Dan Brown when I read, I think the first book that I read by him was The Digital Fortress. And then one of my friends, Kushag, who is a mad Dan Brown fan, told me that Digital Fortress is actually considered to be his weakest work. And I was shocked because I really loved that book. And then I read a few more by him. I think I read The Inferno probably. And then I realized that there's actually a sequence in which you're supposed to read them. Like, they're not in a series per se, but it's better if you read them in a particular sequence. And so I'm waiting to basically read more Dan Brown books. I wish I'll be able to do that in 2021. But this one is a must. I could not put this down at all. And I think I'm going to reread this soon. These two books I got from my first ever book fair. This one is by Danielle Steel. It's called Until the End of Time. And I think this is again in the romance genre, but I remember not liking this as much as I thought I would. It was an okay read, like a 6.57 on 10. Maybe I should get into her other works, but this one, on the other hand, by James Patterson, it's called Private Vegas. Completely opposite genre, but I wasn't expecting much from this, and this turned out to be really good for me. It was fast-paced, just how I like my thrillers to be. However, I have not read more James Patterson books. Like, there were lots and lots of books by him in that particular book fair. I don't know if it's a common thing for all book fairs to have a lot of books by him, but there were loads and loads, but I got this one randomly for some reason. I should actually research more into his writing. Yeah, I'll do that after this video. Next up, I have one of my favorite authors, Cecelia Ahern. So surprisingly, the first book that I read by Cecelia Ahern was not P.S. I Love You. It was called Liar Bird. Quick shout out to Liar Bird and two of my other books which are not here. They are in Pune, which is where my college is, and also half of my stuff is. Okay, Liar Bird reminds me of a story. I need to share this with you. So basically, I read Liar Bird. I fell in love with that book. I raved about it to my best friends for a really long time. I think back in 10th grade. And then we decided to have a book exchange thing. So we exchanged our books to read over the winter break. And I was so excited for her to come back with, I love this book, thank you for sharing it with me. But she came back with, I couldn't finish reading it. You know why? Because two of the pages from the book, randomly in the middle of it, were torn off. Like someone tore those pages off and you could see the edges, and it made my heart so sad. And obviously I didn't do it. Neither did my sister do it, because again, she's very particular about her books. She also loves reading. She even hates dog tagging her books. You know, when you fold a corner of the book to remind you of the page number, she even hates that. Shut up. She even hates that. But she didn't do it. So I thought maybe I took the book to school and someone did, a mischievous act, a funny mischievous act. And I had barely gotten over my grief of that unfortunate event. And about a year or so later, I was rereading my book Catching Fire, and the same exact thing happened with that book. Again, 2 or 3 random pages, someone had torn it off. And so my theory is there is a book ghost that haunts my books. And I'm very sad about it. I'm very, very sad and salty about it. I know it's not me, it's not my sister. And this time, between my first and the second read of Catching Fire, the book was on my shelf. It did not go anywhere. I didn't lend it to a friend. I didn't take it to school. So book ghost, if you're watching this video, we can be friends, okay? You can read my books once in a while. I don't mind that. But please don't ruin them. Please, guys, pray for me in the comments. Anyway, we have to move on from that unfortunate event, which I'll be salty about my entire life. But Cecilia Ahern, this one is How to Fall in Love. And this is not about a romantic relationship. It's more about love with your own self. So it deals with suicide and depression, parts of it. And this is a very different book. It doesn't end the way you'd expect it to, especially between the two main characters. And I feel like that's such a particular niche for writers to do that. So I didn't love this book. Like, this is not my all-time favorite, but I appreciate it for how different it is. This one is called Thanks for the Memories. I don't remember a lot about this one. I got this from the same book fair that I was talking about. And I really like her writing style. I think that's what I concluded from reading all of her books until now. Like, her writing style feels like a warm cup of coffee. Like someone is giving you a tight hug. And not a lot of writers can do that. So, yeah, I think this is more of a writing style love than a book love for me personally. So if you haven't read Cecilia Ahern's books by now, please go read them. Remember how I talked about my Catching Fire book disaster? So this one is the last book in that series. Susan Collins is hands down my all-time favorite author. I love her writing style so much. It gets me in the feels every single time. It keeps me at the edge of my seat, which is what I love about books when they are so imaginative. Like, you can picture them inside your head and you're at the edge of your seat. You're taking the book with you at the dinner table, before you go to sleep, like everywhere. And that's what happened with me with this book and the entire Hunger Games series for that matter. So Harry Potter, Hunger Games and Friends are my 3 all-time favorite best series. Like, if you know me, you will know that I keep talking about these 3 series all the time. And this one is the last book in that series. This is called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This book has received some hate online. And I understand where people are coming from. I understand their opinions, but I don't quite agree with them. I feel like we should be more appreciative and accepting of authors when they modify their storylines a bit, especially in a series. So this book is definitely not an extension of the storyline of the first 3 books. It's more of a character arc. I won't tell you what that character is because I don't want to ruin the book for you. But the writing remains the same. Yes, more attention has been given to the character than the games themselves, but it also ends with the classic Collins cliffhanger. Remember reading District 12 is No More? It ends with, if not the same, but a similar strong cliffhanger. Like, the pace just becomes tenfold in the last chapter. So much happens in the last chapter that it makes you like crave for the next book already, whereas this one has just launched. I can never hold this book in my hand and not appreciate the hardcover. It's so pretty. My camera is not doing justice to this. It reminds you a lot of Mockingjay, but it's not a Mockingjay, it's a songbird. And even the sides have like the writing is gilded basically. It's a beautiful forest green, and I can just like sit here and admire the cover all day, not even kidding. This book, my god, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, this was the whole another mood for me. So I got this as a prize from my school again, but I couldn't read this for the life of me. Like, I'd read the first few chapters and I'll get bored of it. I know, it gets better, trust me. I get bored of it and I keep it down. I can't read it. I try to do that again for the next 2 tries, but I again DNF this book so hard every single time. But a year or so later, I believe I was in 12th grade, or was it in lockdown? There's a long gap between that. I have lost track of time. But basically, I came back to this book, I read it, and I loved it so much. I straight away went to my best friend Anushka, who is a big Percy Jackson fan, and she was so proud of me for finally reading this. I read it, I loved it. I felt very embarrassed that I didn't love it in the first go. I went on YouTube. I'm sorry, I got cut off because of construction, but I was saying I went over on YouTube and I think I watched all the available movie clips from this book, and yes, the movies are a total disaster in comparison to the books. Now I need to buy more books and read more books from Percy Jackson. So if any of my friends are watching this, you guys haven't given me my birthday gifts, let me just say, because it was a quarantine birthday and that's understandable. But get me more books, please. Thank you. Talking about DNFing books, I have my last one to show you, The Republic by Plato. Maybe I'm not smart enough to understand this book, but I just couldn't finish reading it. I just couldn't understand it as well. I think I got up to page 100. Yes, my bookmark is still in here. I got up to page 100. And I don't know, it's a very weird book. I thought I loved philosophy until I read this book. Like, Plato, who's like the master of philosophy, and I'm not able to understand his book at all. It's like there are a lot of characters in here, so it's sort of like a play, but there's no act 1 scene 1. It just feels like it starts from the middle of nowhere, and I'm sure people from the humanities section are laughing at me right now, but I am a science student and I'm just trying to make excuses for not being able to understand this. But I don't think even I'm going to try. I've tried enough, I've given up, and that's the end of it. With that, we come to the end of this video, you guys. I filmed this video as a technique to manifest this into the world, that I need to buy more books. Considering the amount of books that I read, I don't have enough of them. I think my total count is somewhere around 25, 26. So I really need to buy more books, and I'm going to make that a priority in this new year. This was a struggle to film, you guys. I've been sitting here for the past 3 hours filming a video that probably should have taken me only an hour, because there's loud construction and a lot of motorbikes and motorcycles. So I'm really sorry, but trust me when I say this, I've shot every single book at least twice or thrice, and if you do end up hearing some background noises, I'm really sorry, but I was just really excited to film this, and I want to get this edited and up on my channel as soon as possible. But if you still like this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching it. Like, share, comment, subscribe, bell button, all of that fun stuff, and I will see you soon in my next one. Bye.